everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be on this DIY all the time Tiki torch planters. Let's begin! So you first want to begin by preparing each planter. So that is actually patching the holes at the bottom of each one. So here we are going to focus on making sure we patch the hole just so when it comes time to watering your plant, there is an adequate amount of space and an exit place for the water to seep through. So for patching purposes is grabbing a paper or plastic straw like you see here and just sticking it through the actual hole at the bottom of your planter, and then just adding a piece of duct tape and making sure you secure it really tight at the bottom, ensuring that the plastic straw or paper straw has hit that duct tape, and doing the same at the top, or I should say at the inside of your planter as well. And you'll see at the top of the little straw there, I added some extra duct tape to ensure no cement gets inside the straw, and then making it harder to remove the straw after the cement has dried. I hope that makes sense. Alright, so next is preparing your concrete. Here I am just adding the dry concrete into a big gallon of water. Here I believe the brand is Quikrete Fast Setting Concrete. And then I just kind of went to town mixing it, ensuring that I combined all of the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients. I feel like I'm baking here, until I was happy with its consistency. And then begin scooping it into each of your planters. I first started scooping it in there thinking it would be the cleanest way to do this, but it ended up being the messiest, so I just started pouring it directly in there. And you want to complete this process for each of your planters. I went about halfway up the paper straws until I was happy with the length or the amount of concrete I had in each one. And once I had filled each planter, it's time to stick in the Tiki torch. And for that step, what I found to be easiest was obviously first placing the Tiki torch in the center of each planter until I believed it was both centered and straight in the concrete. Please ignore those little toes there, those just my little niece there. Now, to hold the Tiki in place while the concrete dries, what I found best to do was use some painter's tape, and basically you're going to take 4 pieces of your painter's tape and place it on all 4 sides of your Tiki torch. So you're kind of forming a cross, you'll see here as I begin to add the 3rd and 4th piece. So if you place it on all 4 sides, it'll just hold that Tiki torch exactly in place, and you'll just have to wait for it to dry and it'll set straight. And then repeat this step for each of your planters, and then set them aside for the concrete to dry. But don't forget to wet the concrete so that it doesn't crack. Well, then again, no one's going to be able to see the concrete, so that's up to you. And 2 days later, the concrete is dry and we're ready for our next step. Here is just simply removing all of the painter's tape and the straws as well. To remove the straws, I first started using these tools here, but then I remembered they're paper, so they just rip right on out. So if they are plastic, of course you might need a pair of scissors or something. If they're paper, just rip them right on out. And then don't forget to remove the duct tape at the bottom of the planters as well. And lastly, it's time for planting. So I used 3 plants for each planter, but it's definitely up to you depending on how big or how small the plants you want are going to be. But I used 3 for each one, so of course just add some decent amount of soil and then add each of your plants into your planter and then water them and then set them aside and place them where you want your tikis to be. So again, I'm just adding 3 plants to each planter, but it does vary on how much or how big your plants are. And once you are done with planting all of your plants in your planters, don't forget to water them and then just place them where you want them to be displayed for everybody to see. And here you have it, everybody, your beautiful planter Tiki torch stands. Look how pretty that is. Alright, well, thanks for watching, everyone, and please subscribe.